Obtaining Spanish citizenship presents many advantages. Obtaining a European passport, which would allow you to travel freely within the European Union, being able to stay indefinitely in the country and with the same rights as any other Spanish national, being able to work as a freelance for a company in Spain. The advantages are great, and that's why obtaining Spanish citizenship is the goal for many foreigners year after year. The question is it that difficult as many claim to be? How can you actually obtain Spanish citizenship? Well, in this video we are going to solve those questions because we are going to focus on the main path for you to obtain Spanish citizenship, which is citizenship by residency. So if you want to learn more, which are the main requirements, how does the process work, and extra tips you should consider, stay tuned until the end. Hello everyone, my name is Gerard, I'm the marketing responsible at Immigration Spain, and in this video we're going to talk about everything you need to know about Spanish citizenship by residency. But before diving deep into the content, make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so, because in that way you will be able to get notified every time we post more content related to immigration, citizenship, and any of the other legal issues that would make your life in Spain as a foreigner much easier. So if you haven't done already, subscribe. So first of all, what's Spanish citizenship by residency? Well, as its name suggests, Spanish citizenship by residency is that nationality that you can obtain after having lived in the country for a certain period of time. After you have become a legal resident and spent enough years in the country, you will be able to apply and obtain citizenship. So the first question that we should answer is, how much time do I need to spend in Spain in order to be able to apply for citizenship by residency? Well, there are 4 different scenarios depending on your nationality and your condition. The general rule is 10 years. After 10 years as a legal resident in the country, you can apply for residency. That is, unless you are in one of the next 3 cases in which those 10 years get radically reduced. First of all, if you are a refugee and you have the refugee status in the country, then you can apply for citizenship just after 5 years in the country. Then we have the case of just 2 years, which is the most common for many Latin American citizens, which is those who are from, as we said, a Latin American country, from Portugal, from the Philippines, from Equatorial Guinea, or from Andorra, can obtain citizenship just after 2 years in the country. So as you can see, if you are from any of those nationalities, your chances are much better because the required years in the country get reduced to just 2 years. And another advantage of this agreement is that you won't need to renounce to your original citizenship. That is, you would be able to keep both passports, your origin passport and the newly obtained Spanish passport. Finally, we have the case in which you can obtain Spanish citizenship in just 1 year after living in the country, which is that for those foreigners who are married to a Spanish national, for those foreigners who were born in Spain, and for those who are the children of Spanish citizenship who left the country but then came back to live in Spain for 1 year and apply for citizenship. Then let's see which are the main requirements to obtain Spanish citizenship. Well, first of all, we must understand that the years that count toward obtaining Spanish citizenship start counting from the very first day in which you obtain your legal residency card. This means that any period you've been staying in Spain illegally or under a stay status, which is for example that of a student visa, do not count towards Spanish citizenship. Therefore, if you are for example with a student visa, you'll need to modify to a work permit, for example, and after you've obtained that work permit, the count would start running. On the other hand, apart from just counting the years and the legal residency, we also have the fact that those years, that period of time lived in Spain, which is the main requirement for this type of citizenship, must be spent uninterruptedly in the country. This means that you can leave the country for a long period of time or you can leave repeatedly. For example, in the case of requiring just 2 years for Spanish citizenship by residency, you can't stay for more than 3 months during those 2 years in order to qualify. Then another crucial requirement is the need to pass 2 different exams. The first exam is the Spanish exam, the language test, which is equivalent to an A2. This is done at the Instituto Cervantes, and even though it's quite easy, it would require you to speak at least the basics. And then also you have the sociocultural exam, which is an exam in which you get asked questions about Spanish culture, its government, etc. It's a multiple choice test which gets its questions from a pool of over 300 questions, which you can study beforehand and would allow you to better prepare for this exam, also carried out by the Instituto Cervantes. Then, and finally, the final requirement, perhaps one that many foreigners tend to underestimate but which may reject your application in case you are not meeting it fully, is the need to prove your civic behavior in the country. This means that one of the crucial documents you'll need to submit with your application is the criminal record certificate. What this means is that you can have any type of police or criminal record in the country. This stands for speeding fees, alcohol fees, or any other related legal trouble that you may have registered in the country, even though we are talking about minor issues that at the end would get investigated in your file and may reject your application. So make sure that during the period you're staying in Spain, everything from that standpoint is perfectly clear. Finally, and as always, you'll need to pay the corresponding fee, which is slightly over 100 euros, as well as provide your residency permit at the moment, your residency card, your NI number, which is contained in that residency card so you can get identified, and also your empadronamiento, your city hall registration. And finally, another question that we get asked a lot is how long will the application process last? Unfortunately, nowadays the delays are huge, and that's why your application, even though it legally should be resolved in just 1 year, that's what the Ministry of Justice legally has, is the time that they have legally to resolve, to study, to analyze, and to issue a response for your application. Even though it's 1 year, this big amount of files that are stuck and waiting to be studied, that's why it explains that your application, even though it should be resolved in just 1 year, you could experience big delays of 2 or even 3 years. Nevertheless, we cannot guarantee or specify how long it can take, even though you can consider 1 to 2 years approximately. At the office, we've seen cases recently in which files have been resolved in just 6 months. That's not the general rule, but you should consider something approximate to 1 to 2 years. Of course, if you submit your application online and you make sure that you meet all the requirements, all the documents are perfectly crafted, then your chances of obtaining a faster resolution are higher. That's why we suggest, as always, count on the help of an expert immigration lawyers, as we do at our office, so that we can make sure that all the requirements are met. We can help you and prepare on your behalf all the required documents and submit them online so you can get a resolution as fast as possible. If you have any question or you need to start with your application, make sure to send us an email at info@immigrationspain.es. Our lawyers would be completely open to help you out. Subscribe if you haven't done so. See you on the next one.